Ew, blood on my shirt! One Piece! A man who wants to be king of the pirate with his powers of the gum gum fruit is with his nakama will triumph against any enemy in the path. Naruto! With a fox demon inside of him, Naruto will destroy anything in this path to protect anything he wants. Let's begin this fight. Story. One Piece's anime is one of the best so far to actually give anything for the series. It has a lot of unpredictable moments, very funny, and for the most part in terms of dramatic scenes, if you don't cry then you don't have any soul. Though in terms of dialogue, if you're not a fan of Shonen Jump action dialogue, this isn't the anime for you. But what really takes the story to a new level is how the main character sounds and feels for his comrades. How he feels for how they actually end up during like a situation that they can't get out of. But of course, what actually gives the title his name is the voice actress for Monkey D. Luffy, actress veteran Mayumi Tanaka. But don't forget recognition for other voice actors who actually did a pretty good job too. But it also takes it up is also the characters. Ichiro Oda and the animators of this entire anime did a really good job displaying and also animating these sorts of people into an environment that actually is more original than anything else. It feels like they're actually your family and that, but it also feels like it's shonen jump material at its best. Compare that to a story which has too many boring scenes that actually has more action than actual dramatic scenes. And when it goes to mopey, you'll only get like a tear, not a whole cringe from One Piece. Not even a cry tear, nothing. It's just all action, doesn't give you a breather, and also it gets very repetitive at the very point that we want to die after this. So it's no point at all that the story has to go to the One Piece anime. Animation! Now, even though looking at the action scene will sometimes be an eyesore, it will still be beautifully animated compared to the first few episodes which seemed decent. It was after this time skip that Naruto's animation really got well done. But I'm only talking about the original, not the new one that only cares about Sasuke Uchiha. Other than that, character design and everything else is sweet to look at. And I mean sweet to look at. Every single action scene is very well done, and I just love it. I just freaking love it. Now, I had to compare that to a series that actually went through animation, comparing itself to mostly the Dragon Ball series. One Piece animation was almost like watching an upgraded version of Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, with the same sound effects and character design. For the most part, compared to Naruto, this animation wasn't bright and spectacular until the later episodes, which actually seemed advanced but still was the same. Right now, though, if One Piece can't get its A game up with other animes like Bleach or Naruto or even Fairy Tail, it'll soon lose its hype. So, going to Naruto, it has to go to Naruto for animation. It seems more futuristic and actually more advanced than One Piece's. I'm sorry, One Piece, but keep it up. Filler. Filler is annoying, but with One Piece, it actually does a decent job. Some filler episodes aren't as memorable, but we are still entertaining. And with fillers in some areas in the anime, it's not all that bad. Like the Davy Back fight. This is the only arc so far in the series to get more filler than any other arc. It was entertaining, and it showed what really was important to the series without changing much. Davy Back fight much was actually this. Luffy has to fight a pirate who actually hurt one of his friends or close ones that he actually met, and challenged him to a 3-game coin match called Davy Back Fight. It was entertaining and also pretty funny too. I'd say it's actually one of the funniest episodes so far, and it's actually one of the only episodes so far also to just get only a lot of filler in it. But it actually did it right. It actually didn't change anything. No character would actually change, and mostly they all kept their attitude straight. Not like Naruto. On the other hand, Naruto butt-raped the series into more filler than Bleach. They aren't that good, no thought was put into them, and some fights in dramatic moments doesn't affect anything. No, only what happened will actually be remembered for! Naruto has been infamous, and I mean infamous, for horrible and uninteresting filler that doesn't do nothing, while One Piece does something. I mean, look at it. When you look at an episode, you think, he doesn't do that anymore. How does he do that? Why can't he do it anymore? Well, but that's the point. Filler doesn't do anything. It doesn't further the story. It's not entertaining. But unless it's actually properly right and actually still keeps the story moving, it's good. And that's what One Piece showed. So One Piece, for your triumphant filler moments, you get a point, by my case, for filler. Fights! Naruto fights has been more butch to look at because of some of the angle shots, right sound effects, and good battle music. With well animation, you got a pretty good fight. But sometimes in Naruto, it will get confusing whenever a fight is on. You'll have to think of a strategy that's placed in order to defeat an enemy. But they also can be pretty predictable, in which in parts will be good. But this makes me want to listen and be learned by the characters to see who comes up next. But for predictability, meh, it's passable. I don't mind it for that much. As long as it's entertaining, exhilarating, and also well animated, I'm gonna watch it anytime I want with my family or my friends. One Piece at some point will have amazing battle sequences, while in the beginning it will standard action with stiff animation. For right now, though, there hasn't been a fight scene since the Impel Down arc between Luffy and Magellan. Now, there have been fights in that Marineford, but they don't count because they only lasted about only one episode. While other One Piece fights actually last over 4 episodes. But that's the problem with One Piece. It takes too long to get a fight over with. So because of that, I'm gonna have to give the points to Naruto with great fighting scenes, which only takes about 2 episodes. Popularity. Back then, there were plenty of Naruto that only talked about how Naruto is better because it's awesomer than any Jump series. Most find it overrated, and I have to say, it is for a good reason. It has one movie so far that actually went for the day in theaters. It is actually the most popular series in America, and it is the highest selling, and I mean highest selling series of anime out there. With One Piece, on the other hand, it was underrated around the litter. Even though most people are getting back into it, others are still blabbergasted by the epitome called 4Kids dub of the series, which I think killed the series' chances. Now Naruto is losing popularity, and the One Piece has beaten Naruto in anime polls in Japan as the best Shonen Jump anime out there. But I have to give the final point, and I mean it, to Naruto, for it at the beginning had a more popular approach than One Piece because of companies and merchandise. But overall, it's up to us to see what is a better anime series. But for right now, Naruto is the best anime out there.